Baby girl, are you a lover of God? How deeply do you love God? Be honest. Be honest. How deeply do you love God? And if you really can rate it up to 100%, I want you to relate to this. So, God is going to teach you either through situations or rather through people. And one of the hardest thing that I have realized, let me speak for myself, as a child of God or rather as a lover of God, is when God is teaching you to the art of thanksgiving, especially in situations where you're really feeling pain, where you're really going through so much. There is a lot of backlash. There's a lot of one, two, three tribulations at the same time that you even pause and you feel like you can't do it anymore. So at this moment is when you really realize you really actually love God, because the options that are very much reliable to you are those options that God does not approve of. And if you've never been at the situation where you really have called upon God and you feel like he's not hearing you, you can actually relate to this. You are even at your lowest, and now you've said, by the way, at this point, I should allow the boat to sink because I am not finding, God coming to my rescue. But it doesn't mean that he's not going to come to your rescue, but he makes you reach at that point. And that being said and done, I always remember this character, Jonah, that it had to take him to be swallowed by a whale for him to be like, okay, God, I now surrender. So at some point, God makes us to be at that point where we now surrender and be like, you know what, I love you in all seasons. And I will also love you when situations are not working, because I always tend to see that most of us, I know we're not alone. You've always been there. I know I'm not alone. You've always been there, where we find ourselves in situations where we love God circumstantial. Like when he does something good for us, that is when we really love him. When we feel things are not working, you're like, it's not giving, we even become so resentful and choose our own way. So, and I was also looking at this celebrity couple of Indo Muziki, and they had posted recently about, how the floods affected their house. And I saw the pain, inside, yeah, and how they were praising God. And, they were praising God. They decided to, we can't keep on complaining. Let us praise God. Yes, our house is flooded. A lot of things are just, being scattered everywhere. We don't even know what to do. We don't even have a place to sleep. But they were praising God, and I was like, God is trying to teach us something, that loving him is not circumstantial. There are days he just wants us to learn the art of patience, the art of thanksgiving. In case you're wondering where you are at, this is the Unscripted 20s, where we help women navigate through life not as experts, alongside Jesus